there is almost no activity in the world that has a higher ROI than practicing gratitude. And that is true for your attention, your time, and your money. So I want to talk about a couple of fun facts around gratitude. How exactly does practicing gratitude produce a high ROI? Practicing gratitude can help you feel happier, which can then help you spend your attention, time, and money much more meaningfully. It can help improve your memory, become more resilient, strengthen your immune system, calm your nervous system, boost your mental health, get better sleep, make better nutrition choices, and improve communication. So think about if you had all of these things going for you, how much more meaningfully you could spend your attention, your time, and your money, right? So we think gratitude is so important that we created a special tool for it. It's called the Gratitudes and Accomplishments Journal. And it's really intended to give you a space to keep track of the things that you're grateful for and the things that you're proud of all in one place. And to give you a little bit more insight into how to use this tool, I have Qnity's wonderful CEO, Tom Kuhn, joining me for a conversation this evening. So Tom, I would love to bring you off of mute and have you tell us a little bit about the Gratitudes and Accomplishments Journal. So my first question for you is, tell us what made you decide to create this tool?
Well, Sonja, thanks for having me on as a guest. I love this forum and this community, and it's so important to us. And why did I decide to create it? I thought about that, and I remembered a story that I completely forgot about until you asked me to be the guest today. So when we were doing several seminars, I don't even know how many dozens of these seminars that I did. And one activity we did was a very simple activity to teach people how to use a 9 grid. And the activity we used to teach was, a look back over the most recent 2 months, 3 months, or year to date, and jot down 8 things that you've accomplished. And so we'd pause and people would be writing. They'd get about at number 3, they'd start to hesitate. Number 4, hesitate. They got down to number like 5, and it's like 6, and they're like trying to remember. And the time frame, often cases was like 6 months, And what I realized is that we have short memories. And just as you mentioned a minute ago, one of the benefits of practice of gratitude is this tool is it helps with your memory. And so that always impacted me. And I thought, we need better tools and rituals so people can do this instead of trying to remember, coming up with 5 for 6 months. It should be 5 for yesterday. And so what you're doing is you're basically, I don't know, like 100 or 200 times X the number of times you acknowledge your accomplishments. I've always been a big believer in journaling, and that a life examined is a better life, And so this tool for me has allowed me to ritualize it so I can actually do it on a daily basis.
That's really powerful. A life examined is a better life. I love that. I'm curious to know if you've written down anything in the past couple of days that stands out to you or is really impactful that you'd like to share with the community.
Well, in the last couple of days, my memory is short. And so I would actually have to reference what it was. But if you give me just a quick moment, I've got it right here. And so, all right, this is unscripted, isn't it? So,
yes, it is.
Saturday, well, I tell you, I got one for you. Okay. Saturday, I decided to have my son join me going to Ireland. And because I have an event there and a VIP ticket where I get to bring a companion. My lovely wife can't join me. Other people in the company can't join me. And I thought, I'm just going to go with my son. So booked the trip and all of that. So that was a pretty great thing to jot down. So
that's amazing. Love that. Yeah, and it's so powerful how you couldn't recall that right away, right? We have short memories. It wasn't immediately top of mind, but the fact that you wrote it down means that you get to relive the happiness and the appreciation that you felt in the moment that you booked that every single time you reread it, which is so
Right.
powerful. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool. So, is this something you use every day?
I can honestly say this is something I use every day. We have a lot of visual tools, and I use most of them at different times. The most frequent tool that I use would be this tool because it's every single day. And what happens is if I miss a day or two or three, which is apt to happen if I'm traveling, like last week, I'll do a catch up.
Mhm.
I'll do catch up time. So
That's great. Yeah. What would you tell someone who's just getting started on a gratitude practice?
uh, I would I guess the first thing is to um, start very small and use the paper tool. Eventually, you might migrate away from it, from the paper tool. But I think that act of for tactile people like myself, don't lose that connection. So the handwritten piece. So I guess the first thing I would do is say, don't fight the tendency to immediately bring this back into the world of digital, because one of the powers of journaling and the GNA journal is the connection between the hand and the brain, because as humans we are very tactile.
Hmm. That's amazing. Is there anything else you want to share with us about this tool?
Well, I can geek out on this tool and I can get into all sorts of different research and all that kind of stuff. I think that's for another day. What I would just say is that this is a very, very powerful tool. And I would say I think I'm going to leave you with one other thing that I think about frequently. And this is maybe an area that I need to improve on, is I think that there's a tendency for it to become more of a rote activity. You should just do it. You're going through the motions. But I think the power of it is if you just take a moment and allow that feeling to settle in, just elongate it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. I think you have not just the quantitative habit of doing it, but you have the qualitative experience that's heightened 10x if you just take a moment to just elongate the feeling that goes into the gratitude and or the accomplishment.
I love that advice. One thing I do when I fill out this tool is I take a really deep breath as I'm starting to write. And that act of just slowing down for a second and taking a deep breath does help me elongate that feeling. So
Mm.
I would definitely recommend that as a strategy to anybody who's just getting started with this tool, to just allow yourself to really relish in those small things. I love that you also called out that nothing's too small. I often find myself writing on here the tiniest, silliest, littlest things that happen during my day. But I love that because otherwise I would forget those things. It doesn't have to be the biggest accomplishment or the biggest thing you're grateful for. It can be something that happened in passing that can just bring you back into those feelings of gratitude every time you read it. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Tom. I really appreciate it.